Happy Friday to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. Let's talk about what's happening out in the tropics. And thank goodness we are less than 2 weeks away from the end of the 2022 hurricane season. And it is super quiet out there. So just like we've been telling you for the last couple of days, not much to worry about. In fact, we don't have any named systems in the Atlantic basin, so out in the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean, Eastern Pacific, we are looking pretty quiet. Of course, we have gone past the peak of hurricane season, which was right around September 10th. We've made it through October, a couple of weeks in November, and now we are down to a little less than 2 weeks away from the end of this hurricane season. So typically we could still have a slim shot for a couple of systems to develop, but overall the risk for a tropical system developing, heading our way, and making landfall extremely low. That would be pretty rare. We can't rule it out completely, but rare, yes. We're checking out the Gulf of Mexico, and you can see a few showers out there in the west central Gulf and a little disturbance near Cozumel, but overall, I'm not really seeing anything too concerning that we would think could potentially develop into a tropical system. So fairly quiet in the Gulf of Mexico, down into the Caribbean. Scattered showers, very disorganized activity showing up across northern sections of South America. You can see near Caracas, Venezuela, a little rain there, and also some action over towards the Yucatan Peninsula and starting to push into portions of western Cuba. But for the majority of the Caribbean, things are pretty quiet, and we're not expecting any of those showers and storms to develop into anything that would turn into a tropical cyclone. So over the next 5 days are pretty quiet. No new tropical cyclones are expected across the Atlantic, Gulf, or the Caribbean. Looking very quiet as we scan the Atlantic Ocean. Nothing too concerning at this point. More good news off towards the Eastern Pacific. Very quiet there. National Hurricane Center predicting that we're not expecting any action to develop over the next 5 days. So I'm hoping that we can get through the rest of this hurricane season with very quiet conditions. Of course, we've already had a couple of very major hurricanes that produced catastrophic damage, especially across Florida, and we don't need any more. So hopefully we'll finish this hurricane season up on the quiet side. Sea surface temps in part to the Caribbean, the Eastern Caribbean especially, still very warm. So if we were to get something to develop there could potentially be some fuel there for some strengthening. But at this point, I don't see anything developing, at least in the next 5 days. Cooler waters in the northern Gulf, buoy temperatures there in the middle 50s. So certainly not expecting any action there, but in the central to southern Gulf, we can't rule it out with those sea surface temps still in the 70s. So overall, we've gotten through the first two columns of names on our tropical cyclone names for the Atlantic basin for this year. If we do get anything before the end of the season, the next name on the list would be Owen, then Paula, then Richard. But the chance of that happening, as I mentioned, on the low side, because we only have a little less than 2 weeks in this hurricane season. Of course, if you want to find out more about what's happening in the tropics or what's happening with our weather locally across Southeast Texas, you can always head to our Fox 26 weather app. If you don't have it, go to the App Store, search for Fox 26 and download that as quick as you can. Great tool to have. You can always keep up with the weather anywhere you are. Also, you can always say hello to me. Stop by, say hi on my social media at Ramisha Shade TV Twitter, at Ramisha Shade Weather for Facebook, and at Ramisha Shade on Instagram. Have a great evening, a great weekend, and stay safe out there.